Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to Season 3, Episode 1 of Talking Town. I am the Gov, and if you're listening to us on audio platforms, be thankful, because yesterday I went to the seaside, and I must be the only person who got sunburn yesterday. It was not really any sun, lots of wind, and last night, honestly, the heat I was radiating probably could have powered or certainly supplied heating to a cold country for a very long time. I just was missing the Fanta lemon and the lay crisps, and I really could have had the holiday experience. It is the middle of the summer. It is the middle of the off season. People are here, they're everywhere. I thank every single person who is in the chat currently and who leaves a comment. There's lots of comments on this week's shows. Dominic Ball, Freddie Ladapo. So I will get to every single one of them as I can. As you can see, we have a new look. We've got several things coming. Things still in the pipeline. The two shows last week did take some time away from me. So keep your eyes peeled, because there's been more and more coming as it does. But as always, we can't do it without you wonderful people. We wouldn't be here in Season 3 without you wonderful people. We wouldn't be having this revamp without you wonderful people. So truly, thank you ever so much for everything you've done in the past 2 seasons, the past 18 months, 24 months. I've thoroughly enjoyed being Talking Town, and I hope you've enjoyed being with us. Let's go ahead and just supply you with some details. You can support us on Ko-Fi or YouTube. Memberships are available. We are in the middle of changing our boards over, so I won't be able to show you those today, and hopefully I will get your name on there. There was several anonymouses. I can't even say the word. There were several of them. So if you are one of those, let me know. Right, let's bring in my compadre today. The third member of Talking Town is still sunning himself in Maldives, but we drawn the short straw, I guess. We're stuck in Blighty. So here he is, the Media Mogul.
We've just lost the teenagers. It's absolutely embarrassing.
Matt Phillips. Matty, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
Look at him, look.
Hair outlook.
Bang on the Jubilee.
And also, happy Platinum Jubilee, everybody. And also, for the first time on a Sunday, I have alcohol. Champers. Yes.
Good grief. So is it safe to say you're a royal?
Oh, God. Lizzie's had the house dressed in Union Jacks since the beginning of May, practically.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Did you see the concert last night?
I did. It's very good. I enjoyed it.
Sam Ryder is just phenomenal. Phenomenal. I would love to see him link up with Queen. I think he would be absolutely outstanding. I truly do. I think he'd be great.
I do think that Adam Lambert is good for Queen, because you need theatrical vocals, don't you, to step into Freddie's Adidas trainers. And I think I think he does it well.
You do. How's your summer going then, Matt? I know you're putting some shelves up. Did you finally get to do it?
Yeah, I'm looking at them now. They've not fallen down. There's 6 pictures went up as well. Yeah. I will leave it like that, shall we? It took a while.
It took a while. Fair enough. Are you liking the new look? Are you liking what you see here?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, very good. Very good. New logo. Does a new logo mean new merch is coming?
It certainly does.
Wow.
Absolutely does. Yeah, everything we're going up another level, you see. It's what I was saying earlier in the show. We're only able to go up the levels thanks to the support that we get through those channels, obviously subscribers, Ko-Fi, YouTube memberships, because this is us. We're now taking that another step forward. We did last year, Mark Ashton. I suppose if it was a sticker book, Matt, we've only got really one more to collect, and that's the manager.
Sticker. I even completed Panini 81, which I got signed by Malcolm Allison when he was staying at the same hotel as us in Portugal. Malcolm Allison. I'll tell everyone. Tell Martin who Malcolm Allison is, everybody.
Not a clue. Anyway, we have got to start with some sad news today, because very sadly this week it was announced that Frank Clark died, ex-ITFC player. So we've got Colin joining us now, just to speak a little bit on this. Colin, welcome in. How are you, sir?
Hi, Colin.
Good afternoon, Gov. Good afternoon, Matt. And I really, really appreciate, from my heart, you giving me the opportunity, you two guys, to do this afternoon, because, look, it was like 5-6 years after I started going to town. I started going, as everybody knows now, in 64. And Frank joined in 69-70. We were having a tough time at the time under dear Bobby. Bobby had been with us for a year or two, and we hadn't had a good season that year. John O'Rourke, God rest his soul, he died very, very early in his life. He died not so long ago, at a very youngish age. He was playing up front with Ray Crawford the season before, and Frank was brought in with Jimmy Robertson late in that season before the transfer deadline, and we were struggling, and Jimmy came in from the Arsenal and Frank came in from QPR, and Frank didn't score a great amount of goals, but oh my God, him and Jimmy, they transformed. Anybody in my generation and older will understand and appreciate what I'm saying. Jimmy played on the right wing, as it was in them days. Frank played up front in Ray's old shirt, Ray Crawford's old shirt, number 9, and he was strong. He was from a great footballing family. He had four brothers. He was the oldest of the 5, and believe it or not, all 5 played professional football. And Frank, apparently, I only learned this the other day, he was the only one of all 5 of them who never played for Warsaw, believe it or not. But Alan Clark, his brother, who was arguably, obviously, the greatest player of the family, played for the great Leeds United at the time, went to the 1970 World Cup under Sir Alf Ramsey. And Sniffer Clark was a fantastic player for Leeds. But going back to Frank, he, like I say, he never scored that many goals, but he held the line really well. He was very strong. Jimmy Robertson supplied the crosses, and he scored. Jimmy scored quite a few goals at the back end of that season. Like I say, they came in March. In the end, because that was 2 points for a win, then we finished up with 31 points, finishing 18th, which kept us in the league. Sunderland and Sheffield Wednesday went down that season, and the rest is history, really. Frank stayed for the next couple of years. I think that was before we got Rod Belfort in, I think, from Leeds United, and it really formulated the real start of the Bobby Robson era, because Bobby built on that. You know, he brought in players, like I say, people like Belfort, and then after that, people like David Johnson, the Scouser David Johnson. And we built, Trevor Weimar obviously came in a couple of seasons after that. And we just built and built and built. But it's with great sadness I hear this, because, like I say, I was 13, I think, just as a teenager when Frank came. And I remember saying to my dad, God, especially with Jimmy Robertson, with the double signing, God, we signed a player like from Arsenal who previously had played for Spurs and scored in the cup final. I couldn't believe it. We got a player who scored in the cup final. Oh my God. But Bobby was starting to formulate those years that we now all cherish. And Frank was the start of that, really. And he left town. When he left town, he went to Carlisle United. He played at Brunton Park for the rest of his career. And then he because he played for Shrewsbury early in his career, really, really early in his career. And apparently he went back to, after doing a few little jobs up in Carlisle, he went back to Shrewsbury and he ran a sports centre apparently in Shrewsbury, where apparently the Shrewsbury fans will probably be doing a show themselves on him. Apparently he was a real, because that's obviously a bit before my time. Apparently he's a real legend at Shrewsbury when he first started, you know. But yeah, he was a good lad, and you know, and that season, the younger viewers would like to probably know, 69-70 was the season Everton won the league, and a great dear friend of Ipswich Town, Joe Royal, was the top scorer for Everton that season.
Yeah.
We're blessed on Talking Town, Colin, to have a viewership which spans across several age demographics. But for the younger viewer, what sort of player was Frank Clark most like that they perhaps would know, so they can associate just how much he did transform us? Because as Irvin says, we were struggling against the likes of Sunderland, Wednesday, Burnley, Huddersfield. We needed them to keep us out of the bottom two. Frank Clark and Jimmy Robertson came in and transformed us into a great attacking force.
Yeah. What player would he be like? Probably a bit like, if you remember when he played up front, probably a bit like Richard Naylor. Strong, could hold it up, could get people in. You know, I love talking about this kind of, you know, when it hits his chest, that'll stick down and it'll get Jimmy, you know, lay Jimmy in to get down the line, you know. Nice. That kind of player, strong. Like I say, Frank scored a lot of goals for QPR. Remember, they were in the second division at the time. And he scored a lot of goals pre-coming to town. And that season, I think he finished up with, including, he only scored a couple of three for the town in the 5 or 6 games leading up to the end of the season. But I think he finished up with about 22, 23 goals total for the whole season. So he was a goal scorer, but he didn't score. But like I say, Jimmy scored quite a few to the back end. To the back end of that season, and obviously, I mean, we was really, really struggling for goals that season. I remember it really well. Colin Viljohn, one of my idols, who played in as an attacker or central midfield. I mean, Colin Viljohn finished leading the score with about 6 or 7 goals at the end of that first division season, which really, I mean, obviously was not very good at all. But that just goes to show, because we sold John O'Rourke, who again was one of John O'Rourke, God rest his soul. John O'Rourke was one of my heroes, played up front with Ray Crawford in the 68-9 season that got us back up in Division 1. And it was a real surprise when John O'Rourke left, actually, and went to Coventry. But they were great days, and my thoughts would go out to his family. I mean, his 4 brothers. I mean, Sniffer, you know, Alan Clark. He, you know, like I said before, you know, great player, and my God, he could put it about as well. Old Alan Clark. Oh my God, yeah. But yeah, it's a shame, really, Gov and Matt, because, you know, we're starting to lose, you know, people of my generation, you know, because I'll tell you another game, always remember at the back end of that season when Clarkey had joined, was a game against the Arsenal. And it was a night game, I believe. And I remember going with Dad, and we won 2-1. And Billy Baxter, God rest his soul, Billy Baxter scored that night. And I think Frank got the other, I believe. That was either him or Jimmy. I think it was Frank. We won 2-1. I mean, I remember going home with Dad in the car thinking, oh my God, we beat the Arsenal, you know, because I mean, the Arsenal won the Fairs Cup that season, which was the equivalent now to the UEFA Cup. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was the side, you know, with Bob Wilson and Charlie George, John Radford, George Graham. Yeah, you know, great side. John Samuels, great side. The Arsenal win. But yeah,
great tribute, Colin. If everyone's got a glass or something, we'll raise a glass to Frank. Thank you for those fantastic memories.
Cheers, God rest his soul.
A true tribute. Thank you ever so much for coming on and doing that today. I can hear you got your grandkids in the background. Go and be the best granddad that you are. And thank you ever so much for coming on and
cheers, Colin,
and sharing those
Thanks,
words. Sounds like a player we could do with now, to be fair, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good comparison, isn't it, to Naylor, to someone who's holding the ball up and feeding people in. You just think of Naylor, you just think of Wembley 2000, don't you?
Played out his skin that day, didn't he, to be fair?
Yeah, so surprising as well. Who could have predicted that Naylor would have been man of the match that day? No, I don't think anyone would have done. But
absolutely. No, absolutely. You're absolutely right. This is normally where I'd probably play a word from our sponsors just to sort of, move the show on, but they've changed their prices on me, Matt, so I can't do that because I haven't done a video yet for it. So Ipswich buses go contactless on all routes across Ipswich. There is their website. All the latest information is there, but tickets and fares, they now returns start from £2.20. Prices correct as of 5th of June. £2.20 single, £1.30. I mean, it's still an absolute bargain, Matt. It's only 20p difference. I mean, contactless. You ain't got to worry about driving. Have a few drinks. I mean, at football days, particularly, those queues outside the cobbled stand always make me think, why would you A, park here if you have to, but B, not get the bus? It's a nightmare getting out of that stadium. But Ipswich buses contactless on all routes. Right.
And very supportive of the podcast over the last year and continuing to be, mine, as you say.
Absolutely. Yeah. Signed up for the next coming season. Looking forward to going further with that partnership. Really, really am. Right. So we've, paid tribute to a great man. Let's now look to the present Ipswich Town side. You were with me when we had the Freddie Ladapo signing. It's been nearly a week on. How are you feeling about it now? And where do you think Freddie's going to fit in? Because the Rotherham fan who was on with us, if you've not seen it, do jump back and watch it. Says if you're going to play up front, you'll waste him. So where's he going to fit in? And how are you feeling about it now, nearly a week on, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, I still haven't changed my viewpoint of what I had on was it Monday? It's gone quite quick this week, isn't it?
It's gone.
And I think this is a signpost to Ipswich playing two up front next season. Yeah, absolutely. As soon as I saw his name. Yeah, I still do think that. Yeah. Colin actually spoke to Colin in the week, and we spoke for about half an hour. And Colin still thinks another striker will come and be his partner. And he looked ever so happy, didn't he, Ladapo, when he signed with us, like he'd won the lottery. I just wonder if he knows who that second striker is going to be.
Yeah, well, possibly. The thing is, though, if that's the case, Stephen Parry, YouTube member, I'm liking both. Ball will start. Freddie's to be a sub option. That's what he thinks. Mike the Fisherman got to play two up front with both up front with Ladapo. If it is two up front, and you think we're going to bring a second player in, where does that leave Connor Chaplin, for example, on the outside looking in off the bench? Because for me, Connor Chaplin is a player we should be looking to build an attack around after 1 year.
Well,
not a starter, as it were. Great season.
I still think he will feature in that probably that 10 role. One thinking is he's probably going to be like a 3-4-1-2 is one thinking. 3-5-2, and then you've got someone who can just push a little bit forward is what I'm thinking there. Because the abundance of attacking options will still be there in terms of, we kept saying we had too many number 10s last season, didn't we?
Yeah.
But I mean, for me, Chaplin has to start next season. I mean, we had those Cawley Woodrow rumours, didn't we? I mean, because he could still be the second striker, who knows? And I thought that was in order to play with Chaplin, because the two of them obviously played up top or however it was at Barnsley, and got them to the playoffs.
Mike the Fisherman's got a wonderful way of just twisting everything you say. Don't build a team around Chaplin. I said you build an attack around Chaplin, not a team. Not a team. If anyone thinks Connor Chaplin had a bad year on the limited chances, and let's be fair, he wasn't the starter. Bersant Salina certainly was. Then I would question your method of thinking there.
Yeah, I mean, look, Robert McSweeney's got it spot on there. That's exactly what I think. Chaplin would be behind the two. That's what I think.
I'm just looking at that formation. Does that mean Sammy Morsey is the box-to-box experiment is scrapped? Do you now play him as a holder with Ball, and they're the two sitters that allow your two fullbacks and your number 10 to go and join in? Because otherwise, I'm thinking you could have a situation where many times you lose the ball and you're going to be possibly outnumbered.
Yeah, I do think that will happen. That said, of course, I think Morsey did all right. Look, he's not the quickest, is he, Morsey? But I mean, he does get into the right positions and scored. What did he get? 4, 5, 6 goals last season? Must have been one of his best goal returns, because I don't think he'd scored too many with other clubs. It may depend on who partners with him, because I think if you've got Lee Evans there, I think Evans is better as that kind of quarterback, pinging the ball around a little bit more, which would probably free up Morsey to play that position we saw last year. And if it's Dominic Ball, then I think it's going to be, I think he'll be your box and energy and breaking up play, and almost like a more energetic Big T is how I probably envisage that. See, now I'm very excited about Ball signing. I'm sure we'll come to that in a minute, but that's the end for Big T, isn't it? No more Big T.
Possibly so. Yeah, possibly. So, I mean, there's still question marks regarding the midfield options. Sam Morsey being one of them. Always chatter around the future of our captain. Who knows where that's going to be heading over as the summer progresses. Mr. Ipswich Town, a friend of mine, is a Rotherham fan. He is gutted that Ladapo left. He bet me €50 that he will get 20 plus goals for us this season.
It does. I did say this to Colin on the phone call. It does make me slightly worried that he's left Rotherham under a cloud a little bit, because as we see in the Monday show, Ladapo is one of those names you say Freddie Ladapo, you think Rotherham going up to the Championship, back down to League One, going back up again, and scoring lots of goals at his level. So did he not have a harmonious relationship there? I mean, look, Matt from the Rotherham show, the New York pod, told us that he's a bit of a enigma, a bit of a maverick character. I mean, he didn't come across like that, though, did he? In his interview with us, he seemed pretty chilled out to me. But who knows when you're in the cut and thrust of a season and you're vying for titles?
This is who knows what goes on behind the scenes as well.
Absolutely.
All you can do is judge him on the stats and hope that it's a managerial player issue. The two perhaps clashing, whatever it might have been. We've got some comments coming in. We've got Lee Brown still thinks there'll be another forward to come in. Morsey holding, Chappers and another alongside IM. Yeah. Does he mean IM? EJ, I can see 4 more signings. Nice. Stephen Parrott, if the fullbacks bomb on, Ball will drop deep to make a 4. Maybe the formation will be fluid depending on the opponents. Can't fix that at one formation at the moment. Absolutely. Good afternoon, George. Hope you're well. So, Ball, what does that mean? Because now you've got Dominic Ball, Sam Morsey, Lee Evans, Idris El Muzani, and I think that's the end of the options. Now, Idris is obviously, there's rumours about him possibly departing. That would leave you with 3, Ball, Evans, and Morsey. Who's your starting 2? Is it here, or is Ball going to be a backup? How do you see Ball coming in and sort of fitting into the way we're playing?
Interesting one, that, isn't it? Yeah, it's an interesting one, that. So we've obviously lost Carroll, so there was a space in there as well, wasn't there?
Won't miss that.
No.
Let's be honest.
If you want the ball going backwards, he's your man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ball's going to be complete opposite to what Tom Carroll is. He's going to get stuck in. He's probably going to get yellows like Morsey does, and he's going to bring 110%. I think that's pretty much what's written for him. Now, Evans hasn't played for a long time, has he? When was the last time Lee Evans played?
Oh, good grief.
Can anyone tell me in the comments?
Did he ever play under Mckenna?
Yeah, I'm sure. Pretty certain he played.
I don't remember him playing under Mckenna. Honestly, I can't think of a game where because he got an injury.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
he perhaps played him in the early days, like late December, early January. But we've not seen Lee Evans.
I keep thinking he played in that MK Dons game when we took the 7,000, but maybe that was just that was Morsey's comeback.
No, Backinson did, because Backinson did a hell of a turn in the 18-yard box.
13 in February. 13 in February, says Harry Butcher.
There you go. So that's a long time. That's a long time.
Yeah,
long time.
And of course, Mckenna has brought in Ball because they've got a history with each other at Spurs. That's a nice little segue to the fact I've bought Dominic Ball's book, which he wrote this mini biography. So you can see
Have
here.
You now?
Self-published. Mm-hmm. It's called From Winning Teams to Broken Dreams, and it's written, and all the proceeds of it go to Sarcoma UK. Those of you who might have a good memory will know my wife ran for them in the virtual marathon back in October. So, there's a little connection there. And interestingly, in the acknowledgements at the start, let me just find it for you. It says, I would like to thank the coaches that have helped me along the way. These include John McDermott, Alex Inglethorpe, and Kieran McKenna at Spurs. So there you go. Gets a little mention in the forward there. So I think he could well be, given the history, I think he could well be the starter.
I like him. Everything I've read about him, all the QPR fans that have spoke to me, he's industrious. He keeps the ball well. He works hard. No frills. So really, you know, a return to that traditional holding midfield player that's just going to settle down, win tackles, and retain that possession. And
quickly back to this one, mate. If you do want to buy this, it's on Amazon. It's 12 quid, and as Stephen says, all proceeds go to Sarcoma UK. So you can find out more about our new player and donate to charity at the same time.
Certainly does. I did think about it, but I don't have any time to read a book.
You're too busy. You're rebranding right now. You need to read into me.
Absolutely. You read it for me and let me know how it goes down. Paul is blue. Why do people think how we're going to line up next season? Transfer windows not even open yet. But Paul, where would be the fun of that? This is the fun season. This is the season where you can dream about a team that you think's going to win the league by 100 points, 100 goals. You know, but I do like the signing of Don Ball. It's a real settler, you know, just allows a left wing back to come in and be a more attacking threat, because you've now got a player that's going to just positionally, you hope, hold ground, which is what you need.
And give us that. We've got some bite of Morsey. We've now got added bite, I think, with Don Ball. We've always said, haven't we, that we were a little bit too lightweight. Crunch will say we've always been a little bit too nice. Now you've got someone in Morsey who picks up yellow cards every other game, and I think you'll see Don Ball in there and tough tackling as well. So that's really going to give us a little bit of bite and hopefully a little bit of impetus in the middle of the park, which may have been missing in previous teams.
Well, just think back to that start we had last season under Paul Cook. One of the major issues was the midfield two constantly getting caught the wrong side of the ball.
Yeah, disaster. I mean, that didn't help, did it, to start? Which in the end was the reason why we finished where we finished, I think, in terms of the points gulf between the 6th and where we finished. Was it 11th?
But if you go back and watch a lot of the goals, it's because of your midfield two, which at the time was obviously Harper and Evans.
Yeah.
Both the more, perhaps not Evans, but both adventurous at that point in time. They were caught too often the wrong side, which left the back four, as it was then, just, facing the onslaught like Jon Snow in the Battle of the, BASTRDS. I'll try not to swear. We'll try and keep it professional. It's not my fault. It's what it's called. But, so a Don Ball signing early doors just allows. I'm really quite excited by it. As a defender myself, I get excited by the players that do the dirty work of the game, not necessarily your more attacking options. I mean, of course, you want to have a player that gets you off your seat, but I'm more about like a Luke Heim. I think Luke Heim was underrated in that team. Just win the ball, recycle possession, allow your better players to go and be themselves.
Yeah, no, don't disagree. Yeah, Heim was probably one of these players that. How many appearances? All his appearances were in the Championship with us, weren't they?
Absolutely.
So yeah, you have to. He probably had a bit of an under the radar career, I guess. A career we'd all give our left arm for. As fans, of course.
I was at an event yesterday, and a band called, I think it was JB and the Lockabillies, or I can't quite remember now. But basically, I've been on a hunt to find Johnny Duncan's band over the last couple of days. I went to Stowe Fiesta, where there was a load of bands on. Didn't see Big JD. Went to Felix Day yesterday. There was a load of bands on. Sadly. Still didn't see JD, but I'm going to try and find Johnny Duncan's band at some point in my life. But yesterday they played a song, Hey Baby. They know the song. Hey, hey, baby.
Oh, yeah.
What's the player you think of when you hear that?
I want to know how you... Tell me. I can't remember. I remember the song.
Murphy. And that wonderful, wonderful season. I was actually singing Hey, Daryl Murphy. But, what? I can't... That year, as we get further and further away from it, just seems more bizarre. Like Daryl Murphy was like Superman.
What was it? 27 goals?
32, wasn't it?
Or maybe in all competitions. 27, certainly 27 in the league, I think it was.
It was mental. And surely not many teams have ever had a striker score as many as he did not win promotion.
Yeah, typical, isn't it?
Classic Ipswich, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look, seriously, we could do with someone scoring that amount of goals this forthcoming campaign. Hopefully it might be Ladapo or someone else who arrives. But
we need it. I mean,
that was the season we only just sneaked into the playoffs on the fact that Derby capitulated against Reading at Pride Park, wasn't it?
Hey, come on. Be fair. Agent Darren Bent, he missed the penalty on purpose. We all know that. Big Dazza. We all know where his allegiance lies.
Yeah. Stephen Parry says 33.
33. I would love to know for the statisticians in the chat, and we've got some great ones. I saw particularly George Nunn's name in the chat. Has there been a team that's not won promotion with a striker that scored more than 30 goals in a campaign? Because I've always had this thing, haven't I, Matt, where Ipswich Town at the centre of all history trends in football. That would be another unfortunate history trend that we are
Yeah.
an elusive club.
Who's the lad at Fulham? Got 40 this year, didn't he?
Mitrovic. But they won the flipping league by a canter, didn't
there
they?
you go. There you go.
I mean, you know,
That's what
we
we've got to be
collapsed.
looking at, right?
That Blackburn game, coming back to it, actually, could have won to be in the playoffs. We didn't even show up.
Was it 0-0?
No, I think we lost 5-2, something stupid. I'm perhaps in my mind, I've made that much bigger than it was.
It was at Ewood last day's season.
Yeah.
It was a draw. It was certainly a draw. Maybe it was 1-1.
Crap. Excuse my French.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Dominic Samuel up front, when he hit the bar.
Oh, it's 3
Forest.
My memory's gone to pot. It must be the champagne. We lost 3-2, but got into the playoffs. Am I right, Lewis?
I knew we lost, but I
Yeah.
was thinking 5-2, 3-2. That sounds better than what it actually felt on the day.
I remember running up here and telling the missus, yes, we got to the. She goes, but you've lost the game. I said, yeah, we've got it on default.
Oh, you can't beat the Norwich derby where literally I'm literally out of my mind with Luke Chambers' goal. Literally out of my mind. Things that, scenes you've not seen in this house since we moved in. And then 30 seconds later, what felt like 30 seconds later, what's a gut punch? What's a bastard gut punch that was? I still feel it now when I think back to that game. That still hits me right below the belt.
Yeah.
That's a nuts.
That was, that was a low blow, certainly was, yeah.
Trevor Amos, Paul's a good player, but I was hoping we were signing a centre midfielder who has an eye for goal. That might still be coming, Trevor. Might still be coming. Don't forget, Pat the season, Harper. Says McSweeney. McSweeney knows his onions. Rakeem, big bad Rakeem. Rax Max, not been in a position to watch or take part in chats. Rax, we've missed you, buddy. Not over enthused by signings thus far. Playing two up front would be a surprise, as half of the season we never played with one. It felt.
Well, McKenna's had to cut his cloth accordingly, hasn't he? He's inherited a squad. Now we've seen him put some players together. If you actually look at some of his stats when he was Manchester United under 18s coach, I think it was. He plays lots of different formations, actually. So it'd be very interesting. But I just think the fact that Ladapo is so nailed on to a 2, and with that Michael Smith at Rotherham, I mean, it would seem ludicrous to just play him in the formations we've seen in the previous season. But let's wait and see. I've been wrong before.
I don't mind the formation being fluid. I just hope for a more settled lineup next year. I don't want this constant shuffling of a pack like we had last year. I don't think that helps anybody.
Well, see, I've been thinking about this. I do wonder if the old Saturday, Tuesdays and multiple competitions, you start in the first round of the Cup, you've got EFL trophy to consider. I do wonder if you might see this kind of more rotation of teams rather than consistently picking the same 11.
I bet if you got 10 players and you asked them, what would you prefer? I bet
play games.
8 out of 10 would say they need to have a run of games to get a consistent run of form. You can't get your form up if you're playing, missing, or playing, missing, playing. You can't.
Yeah. No. This goes back to when Paul Lambert didn't want to play games, remember? Oh, we shouldn't be having the EFL trade. Oh, it's ridiculous. It's your job to play games. That's what you do. I mean, I do sometimes wonder, how did we get from that sort of like culture of like Russell Osman in 81? What was it? 66 continuous games all over Europe, a league campaign, a cup campaign, all that kind of stuff. Plays in a final, lifts a trophy. And now we're going, I'm not sure players can play 2 games in a week. Do you know what I mean? Oh, Martin, you've disappeared. He's disappeared on me. What do we think in the comments? Rotation next season or a solid 11? Tell me in the comments.
I was so angry by what you just said. I had to just leave the chat. I was so angry.
Hold on a minute. Trev Ramos has said Leon Best was our replacement for Murphy. Do you now remember that?
Sadly, yes, I do remember that. Yes, I also remember the greatest moment in Radio Suffolk history with what do you think of Leon Best? I won't say what he said because I don't want to upset Adrian, who wants me to stop swearing. I do apologise, Adrian. The excitement gets to me sometimes. Right, moving it on. Burns, wows. He's not in the squad today.
No.
He had a fantastic game by all accounts last week.
Well, played on the left side of midfield.
He did.
Random.
Are we in... First of all, do you see Wales beating Ukraine?
Oh, yeah.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't. I think Ukraine are on this emotional, euphoric wave that will not be beaten by the Welsh Dragon. But let's live in your world for a minute. Oh, everything's quite tall. Sorry, I couldn't resist that one.
Carry on. Carry on.
Let's live in your world for a moment. Wales are in the World Cup.
Yeah.
You're at risk of losing Wes Burns to sit on the bench. Like,
Well, I mean, that'd be interesting. How would that work then in the World Cup if you lose players to the competition?
surely
It's
it would
only a
work.
pivotal player like that, right? We don't be losing Burns for a month, do we?
Surely the EFL would look at it like they look at international call-ups. You'd need a certain number for a postponement. Like they couldn't just say to you, "Oh, well, you've lost Wes Burns, who we all know is your talisman. You've got a squad of 25 players, but because you've lost Wes Burns, you can have a month off."
Yeah, I see what you mean. But I mean, look, even if you had just one call up from, I don't know, Burnley, for argument's sake, they wouldn't be playing, would they? It's only going to be League 1 and 2, isn't it? Because the Premier League and the Championship presumably will have a month off, a winter break. Winter Pause, they call that in the Bundesliga. I think that'd be really harsh in Ipswich. Yeah, I don't see how we could carry on without a player that's fit to play for Town going over to the World Cup. I mean,
particularly if he's going to sit on the bench. That's what I'm really quite
don't worry
concerned
about. The fact is, he gets called up. Why should Ipswich have to play league games?
Well, they will. That will be a thing. That will happen. If Wes Burns gets called up, Ipswich Town will carry on playing with Wes Burns sat on a bench in Qatar. Like, I don't mind if he goes and he plays and we have to play on. I don't mind that. I mean, that's him playing at a World Cup, which we all know is a huge thing, once every 4 years, and increases his value.
Why should we have to play? Why should we have to play on though if they've decided to have the World Cup in mid-season?
Because you finished 11th last season and you didn't deserve to have a break off. That's the fact.
I do feel like that. Like the rules that they have in these call-ups, like if was it 2-3 and you can postpone the game. I mean, you're really pushing the envelope for League One size there, right? If you're losing 3 international players, you'll probably lose in League One. You're probably losing your 2-3 best players.
I also think they've got it the wrong way round, because you would normally expect, surely, the more bloated, better squads, the higher the pyramid, and then as you go down, the more thinner the squad becomes.
Exactly.
So if Arsenal lose 3 international players, for example, you would expect them to have 3 players coming up that are just as good. Ipswich Town lose 3 players, like when we had Alan Judge here, for example, that squad. You lose the 3 quality players you've got. Yeah, you've got a kid to come in and replace him, which is
exactly. It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I don't know what the regulation is around it yet. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. But so I hope, we certainly don't want to lose Burns for a month. Let me tell you that right now.
Particularly if he's going to sit on the bench. I hate the fact he's. I mean, and you can see it quite clearly. He's obviously a new addition to the squad.
Yeah,
he's not quite trusted enough at this point to feature, despite playing well by all accounts last weekend.
But that was Nations League, wasn't it? So I think Graham Brooke called that the EFL trophy of international football.
It's nonsense. It's just glorified friendlies. I hate it. I hate international football that's not a major tournament. I find them frustratingly boring and annoying. There's too many for a start.
Yeah.
The quality is not there. You end up with players winning a record for goal scoring against teams that are just nonsense.
Yeah.
Like striker A in 2020 is better than striker B from, I don't know, the 1970s. Well, striker A is playing A more games and against nonsense teams.
Exactly.
Like the Bermuda Triangle, or whatever the team may be.
So he made the I was going to say the United Nations. The nation, it's gone to be Ed Deschamps, everybody. He's made the Nations League squad, but he's not made the cut and thrust of World Cup qualifying. So we'll see. I think it'll be very harsh on Ipswich to lose a player, but Stephen says it doesn't seem like the rules filter down into League One, which I think is a bit crazy. But then we're not your atypical League One side, are we? A, we've got quite a lot of money. B, we're able to match Championship wages. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Well, I'm sure Sheffield Wednesday would say the exact same thing.
Yeah, I'm sure they would. How many European trophies they won? Get in the bin.
Talking of Wednesday, reports coming in £1 million for Macaulay Bond. They're looking to bid for that for the player that was here last season. Right. Would that pique your interest, Mr. Phillips? Would you be sat at the dashboard as Ashton would be thinking, a rival, $1 million, 12 goals was it last season? It's not too bad for a second or third option off the bench. Or would you be thinking, yeah, go there?
Yeah. Well, look, we all saw Macaulay play. He was £1 million striker in those first 2 months. £10,000 striker in the following months, wasn't he? I mean, one goal after between it was the January game at Gillingham, wasn't it? Priestfield,
Yep.
little tap in.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
again.
right.
So look, if Sheffield Wednesday want to pay £1 million for Macaulay Bonne, go for it. But I would certainly say on the back of 7 of the 9 months, wherever it was of the season, 1 goal.
Yeah, it wasn't. Obviously 29 starts, 12 goals last season for Macaulay Bonne.
He was fantastic at the start. I mean, look, we were chomping at the bit to sign him, weren't we? But for whatever reason, he tailed off. Now I don't know why. But then I've got Orient fans at my gym, and they said he'll start off like lightning and then fade away. And that's basically what I mean. We didn't expect him to, score 12 goals every 2 months, did we? He scored 60 odd goals, but to tail off as he did was, I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know.
I think back to some stats we were looking at on the Extra Time show last season, where it was Macaulay Bonne not getting the goals, but certainly getting in the positions to miss big chances. And he was sort of third at one point in big chances missed. For whatever reason, he lost the Midas touch in front of goal. I just think £1 million for a 26-year-old, that's almost a risk worth taking in modern football, because it's not like we're sitting here going £1 million. That's not really that big money anymore. £1 million. If for a player that could, if he hits the ground running, does what he did last year, fire him back to the Championship, or be worth. I mean, let's say he carried on scored 22 goals last year, he'd be worth that $1 million. Why
does Sheffield Wednesday think he's worth $1 million? That's probably would have been quoted by QPR, maybe. Look, QPR paid $2 million for him.
Absolutely.
Look, he's the kind of striker who went from non-league football straight to the Championship, because he went from Orient, got them promoted, goes Charlton, did all right there, think he hit double figures, then he goes QPR, then he comes to us. Look, I would love to have signed him. Ticks all the boxes. Pulls Ipswich for one thing, absolute lining in front of the goal first 2 months, and then tailed off. I mean, look, we probably should be looking at strikers that finished last season with a bit of momentum and, have got a little bit more about them maybe. But again, look, Macaulay might come back. Say he did come back to Ipswich, might start off like lightning again. But I would say that's a risk, really, when you consider that we could probably cherry pick other strikers for similar money. We've got the budget to do it. Absolutely.
Still only 26 years of age, though. Now coming into what you would traditionally call the prime of his career. This is a player that could either go one way or the other.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to do that. I can't see him coming back to Portman Road, but for $1 million, I'd be interested. I wouldn't say, it's £1 million. It's too much money. If it was to come out tomorrow morning that we're interested in him, so would you?
I think probably, having seen him play the season, I would probably look at other options. Really, I'd rather spend our $1 million or more on someone else's guaranteed to. Well, no one's ever guaranteed how they could break his leg in the next game, but you know what I mean.
Could do Paul Taylor.
Yeah, just someone who's shown they can do it across the season rather than 2 months. I think is what we need. Because then we'll be sitting here a year's time going, "Oh bloody hell, he was really good at the start and rubbish at the end," and we don't need that. We need like a Will Keane, someone who couldn't hit a barn door at Portman Road, and suddenly it's 30 odd goals at Wigan, and
but then
his stock's gone up again.
You say that. But I wonder what the reaction
is. Macaulay Bonne the next Will Keane, then, is he?
No. But I'm just thinking what the reaction would be to the fans or some fans if we'd signed Will Keane, or if we signed a player with what Will Keane brought to Wigan originally.
Because goes back to what you often say. That you look back on a player's CV, right, and go, "Oh well, that player, he was a kid in the academy at Chelsea or wherever, Man United, like Keane was." Automatically their stock goes up, doesn't it? Because they've been in that thing. When we're saying it at Mckenna, oh bloody hell, he's training Podger, he's training Ronaldo. Suddenly his stock goes up, even though we don't know who he is when he becomes manager. Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, look, Keane was like head of the pecking order at everybody at Old Trafford. It's only because he got injured and Marcus Rashford stepped into his place, and look what happened to Marcus Rashford. So he's always got that class, he's always got that talent, I guess. But maybe he was just more at home in the Northwest, which is where he's from.
You always have sorry, not always. You only have to think or look on social media that at the moment where so many fans are saying, when can we start signing loan players that are young from the academies of the Premier League? why? What are you basing that thinking on, other than the fact that you're perhaps signing a Liverpool player that's been in there? And that's what, that's why I always say about when young players go to these bigger clubs, because fans immediately say, "Oh, Liverpool have just released this player, Joe Bloggs. We're picking him up because it's Liverpool." If you say MK Don just released this player, Joe Bloggs, people will go, oh.
Yes,
but
exactly.
he could be the exact same level as, say, I don't know, an Adam Humphreys, but because he's got that Liverpool or Man United, that Premier League connection, fans always go, well, he must have a bit about him then.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm writing Bon off here. I mean, he's had a Will Keane-esque guy in the season, I suppose. He's got more goals, certainly. I don't know. I mean, look, I think Keane went back to the Northwest and, he just found his touch again. I think he was probably more at home there. It's where he's from. Maybe Wigan was just a club that fit him better.
Stephen's right, because there's something that won't be there, which is exactly why you lose players, and I'm not going to say any names, but you lose players to Premier League football clubs because it enhances their CV. Ipswich Town, well, they wouldn't be at them top clubs if they didn't see something in them. But then define a top club, because for me, a Premier League team, just Premier League team, for many fans, and I'm not going to say the club's name up the A140, but if you are a fan of Carlisle and a certain young player that went from here to there is released, you go, we're signing a Norwich Academy prospect. It's immediately more palatable than if you're a Carlisle fan, than if you're signing a Rotherham, even, for example.
Yeah.
Hurts, it sucks, but that's the football landscape at the current time. Talking of which, as we round up today's show, expectations and breakout star. I want some expectations, early expectations from you. This is not our expectation show. We'll get some more definite after the window's sort of taken place. But as we sit here, 5th of June, 2 in the door, what's your early expectations for Kieran Mckenna's Ipswich Town Football Club?
Well, it's got. I mean, my expectation is exactly the same as it was as last season. It's got to be top 6. Have to hit that top 6 next season.
Okay,
that's got to be par, everyone, isn't it? That has got to be par. Yeah.
Just the top 6 finish. You don't.
Yeah, I would like us to be top 2, but I think at the moment, I said to you, I wasn't going to even think about that until we've probably played 10 games, and whether or not, what the opposition is going to be like. We still don't know what shape Derby are going to be like, what Barnsley are going to be like. We know Peterborough are always a threat in League One. Well, now we've mentioned 3 clubs, then there's only 2 can go up automatically. So I think we'll have to. I'm going to wait this season until we're 10 games in to see how the land lies a little bit. But certainly Ipswich needs to be in that top 6 mix. Certainly with Sunderland out of the way now.
Yeah. Top 3 for me. Top 3.
Well, I mean, look, if they finish 3rd, they're still going to be in the playoffs, right? So
yeah. But I want to be a team on the that's just beaten to a top 2. If you can't be in the top 2, I don't want to be a team that's
if we're just beaten to the top 2, won't we?
Oh, then absolutely.
You're not going into the playoffs with any momentum. That's why sometimes it's better to finish 6th.
I disagree. I disagree.
But then you got you say you miss out by 1 point, right, to 2nd, and we finish 3rd. We'll all be gutted. How do you then lift yourself up for that? I would rather be the team that got into the playoffs on the last day of the season in 6th, and then you've got momentum. You've obviously won a game to get in there. I don't know. I think finishing 3rd is a bit of a blow. Do you remember? Do you remember in the old Division 2? No one who finished 3rd used to get promoted, did they? And then I think, was it us who broke the duck?
I think we did. Yeah. I hear you. I absolutely hear you. I just think after 2 seasons of them not making the playoffs, for me, you want to be promoted without a shadow of a doubt. Everyone knows who's watched this platform since day one knows how desperate I am to get this football club out of this tier.
Absolutely, yeah.
But you got to get back to being a team that's considered a threat, and other teams, other fans look at Ipswich Town Football Club and they look at us and they go, yeah, like a bit like you're saying here. Yeah, they should finish in the top 6, probably 6th or 5th. They don't look at us, or I've not seen certainly on the Facebook groups I'm a part of, where people are going, well, next year you've got Ipswich, then you've got Derby, what they're going to be, then you've got Pot. Like, we're not a team people are put into that immediate conversation of, well, you've got. And I want to be back in that conversation, and I want to be a team that people suddenly look at the fixture list and say, we've got Town coming up next week, or Town are going to be here next year, and they're going to be a side that's going to be up there or thereabouts. Not a 6th or 5th. top 3 for me. And if you finish third, okay, but top 2 is where I want to be, obviously.
I can't see how people would not be having Ipswich Town in the conversation of finishing top 6. I mean, just look at the 2 signings.
You've finished in 10th and 11th the last 2 seasons, Matt. You've not earned the right for modern fans, for young fans, to say, "Oh, well, Ipswich Town, they're going to be top 3, top 4, there or thereabouts every time."
I'm not really bothered about that. We're doing our talking right now with the 2 signings we've made. Really good. One who's proven League One striker. One who's played 20-odd games in the Champ last season. So, yeah, if people don't want to put us in the mix, fine by me, because everyone was saying we would be champions last season, myself included.
Absolutely. Paul, the Championship's a basket case. We can do something special once there. Absolutely. Wycombe was 6th in the final. Got to win the league, says the Fisherman, and a second as a minimum.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm being ultra conservative because of the disappointment we've had the last few seasons. Look, I always wanted to try and win the league, certainly in the 3rd tier. But we do have to make a consideration that other fans are having the same conversation at Peterborough, at Pompey, at Sheffield Wednesday, at Derby. I mean, it's going to be difficult. It's only 3 promotion spots. We've already listed 6 teams that could easily be in the mix.
Yep. MK. I think Mike D sort of says it well there. Derby, Wednesday, Barnsley, Peterborough, top 2. Manning at MK. Things this is what I was talking about. This is why modern fans from other clubs that aren't associated with these teams necessarily look at it and put it in this context, because MK have earned that respect to be in the conversation. Oxford have been consistently in a playoff or looking to be in a playoff. We as a 2022 football club have to get back to being a team that people say, you've got Derby, Wednesday, Ipswich, Peterborough, they'll be thereabouts. Then you've got your MKs joining them, or your Plymouths who have had a good year. We've sort of not earned that respect yet in this level. We haven't.
No, we haven't. It'd be quite interesting to see where the media places in terms of like 442 magazine and all that kind of thing, where their expert writers think we might finish. It'd be interesting. But the fact that Ipswich have the money behind them, the ownership behind them, Mark Ashton now, Kieran Mckenna coming out of Man United to us. I mean, look, we're ticking some big boxes there. Most clubs haven't got that. It might just be us who have got all that. A manager well respected in coaching, an American funding. Really, I mean, Mike's right. Really, with all those boxes ticked, we really should be finishing top 2. But but football can bite you on the arse, can't it? We keep seeing it, and that's why we finished 11th last season.
Stephen Parry, don't care about others. Let's just do our bit. Do you care about what other football fans think of your football team? Because I care hugely about the way people view my football club, because I want to be supporting the best football club in the world. I believe I already do. But, I want to be the football club people look at and are, not looking forward to coming down to Portman Road, not looking forward to seeing them rock up at wherever the hell we rock up to. I want to be the team people look at and put some respect on the name. No,
not really. No, I don't really care what other people think. But I did like the fact that when we was in the Premier League, a lot of people did adopt Ipswich, in the season we finished 5th, as they're kind of like their second team. People like people, Spurs fans were coming up to me like pubs and things when Ipswich were on and going, love watching you guys. Really good. Really like a lot of energy about it and bringing something fresh, and it's a historical name back in the Premier League. I actually really like that. I'd like us to get back to that at some point, but I don't know. We're kind of stuck in the swamp that is League One at the moment a little bit, aren't we? We're kind of stuck in there. Hopefully, we can break out of it. Do you know what I mean?
Stuck in the boggy ground, the horrible.
A lot of clubs have found themselves in there. But look at Forest. They were down in League One for a long time, weren't they? And then spent a lot of time in the Championship, over a decade, I think, before they've got promoted. The blueprints of success are there, aren't they? They're all there. So I mean, we can. I certainly think we've got the infrastructure right off the pitch. Look, we've had Mark Ashton on the show. We can see how much effort's going in. We can see how invested the American ownership are in terms of wanting to bring players in and making money available. As you always say, Martin, you want to make the money available in the Championship as quickly as possible. Hence the reason why you always want us promoted ASAP. So you've got that fund to spend where it actually matters, rather than trying to get out of the 3rd tier. We'll see. It'll be another tough campaign. Don't get me wrong. That's why I'm reserving judgment until we're 10 games in, because a lot of clubs are going to be in the mix, I think.
So what do you do to nick a question from Mike D? What do you do if you're 10 games in and you've got the same points or the same starters under Paul Cook?
Interesting. What will we do? Luckily, we don't have to make that decision. I think we'll be a bit pissed off Absolutely.
But I'm
because
asking you, what do you do?
Yeah,
You're in the position to do that.
what would I do? Well, so you're saying what we've got like less than 10 points after 10 games? Yeah, you're up shit street then, aren't you? I don't know. We'll have to see how the context of the games were, but
Do you
that
borrow
would be a
Dove's
terrible-
guillotine? Do you borrow the guillotine? Is it shake up time?
Don't know. I'm not going to answer that right now.
Look at that, look. See, I answered the question. I took it on. Hard truth,
Not gonna
without his
answer that
little
one.
mate, look, he suddenly is a shrieking violet. Look at him. I
Only-
can't answer that. I can't answer that.
You know, who knows? We might have scored, I don't know, an unlucky own goal and we lose the game. We might have a penalty that wasn't supposed to be, and we end up losing the game. Do you know what I mean? We haven't seen the context of the games yet. It's all hypothetical.
What a shrinking violet.
I can only deal with facts.
Well, a fact is this. We are, Cruncher has laid down the gauntlet. If we can get 4,000 subscribers on the platform, there's
Absolutely.
mentions of season tickets, etc. Obviously, go to his Twitter to find out all the information because he is the patron saint of tickets.
Tickets has got a companion now. Sam Morsey tweeted, if you've not seen this, everyone, Sam Morsey tweeted yesterday to say he would match Richie's generous offer. So if we can get 4,000 people subscribing to our YouTube channel, look, it's not like we need more viewers. We've got a great amount of viewers. It's just a target to hit in order to offer. You always say, Martin, don't you? You got to think big to give the big prizes, haven't you? So Richie's generously saying he's going to offer out of his own pocket adult ticket, child season ticket, and Sam Morsey's going to do the same.
Absolutely.
Talking Town lot. Who watches Talking Town? Well, let me tell you, Sam Morsey's all in.
And Natasha Thomas tweeted it as well. I'm led to believe. So both stars of the men and the women's teams have got behind the patron saint of tickets. I wonder if Lee Evans is hearing about it, Crunch. I just think, as you just said there about the views, we got just shy of 500,000 views last season.
Wow.
Huge. 5 million impressions. This year, obviously,
like they used to do on Blue Peter, wasn't it? We're just trying to set a target.
Yeah,
big on the target in order to get the big prizes, and it makes that look. It's such a neat look. I'm sure there's people who don't like Talking Town are refusing to click the button, but just by clicking that button, it's going to make such a difference. Because as I said last week, we take it for granted that we go to Portman Road every other week to watch the games. It's automatic for me. I don't even look at the money coming out of my bank account. That's how lucky I am sometimes. And I take it for granted. But there's people who are watching these games and I'd like to go to Portman Road one day. And it's a big thing for them to go maybe just once a season. And Rich is going to make that happen, hopefully. And you can make that happen by clicking the subscription button. That's all it takes.
Absolutely. Rich came, needed something that was tangible to work towards, as you've just said. And obviously, he's chosen the YouTube subscribers. He could have chosen his follower account, etc. But he's done the 4,000 subscribers. We are currently on 3,546, just shy of 200 new subscribers in the last 28 days. YouTube tells me.
Brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely huge. So 454 away. There is 30 days in July, which we're working towards, and another 25 in June. So that's 55 days, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm pretty certain we will get it done. I think it's fantastic. Sam Morsey's, I saw it on Twitter and goes, yeah, I'll match it.
Absolutely.
Patron saint of tickets delivers again. This time from the Maldives.
Lead from the front. So we need about 8 subscribers a day for Crunch's ticket giveaway. Basically, for me, for example, I've got myself, the wife, I've got my son. I could probably create a Google account for that. I could bring 3 to the party if I wanted to myself. So we all know Town fans, brothers, in-laws, relatives, friends. Tell them about Talking Town. Get them subscribed, and let us do the rest. Because once they're subscribed, believe me, this contributor, Matt, Crunch, George, Stephen, when he comes on and says what he says that often people enjoy, there's a whole host of views and voices, and we are the voice of Town fans, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. It's when you think back to the journey that has been Talking Town, we started it in lockdown with 20 people, not even that. Nick Muller was certainly watching on that first day, because I've always remembered his name, and it's grown into what it is now. Great community of people, and we've had detractors, we've had a few issues with other sections of the fan base, but we keep on delivering, don't we? Must be doing something right.
Just growing pains as the elbows got stretched out. That's all. You know,
Yeah,
you've got to get yourself to the
right,
front.
right.
And we're going to another level thanks to the rebrand. I know me and Jordan are working hard on that. And thanks to you wonderful people at home for supporting us and being a part with us. That's episode 1 in the books. Hit subscribe, become part of the movement. Enjoy the content that we do. I know the owners enjoy it, for example, because obviously we wouldn't have had the opportunities we've had over the last couple of years. James remembers when watching when you had 9 viewers. Well, you know, we're not where I want to be just yet, James. There's still more to get. There's still more town fans that need to have their say.
You presented from your sofa to begin with, didn't you?
I did.
Look at you now, a backdrop.
Hey, beautiful backdrop as well from George. Look at that.
Really
He's a great guy. But I'm all about people having their say, unfiltered and live. And trust me, over the course of the last season, it has been proved it is unfiltered from the contributors through to the fans, you know, to the viewers. We've had transfer shows where we've had back and forth bicker. We've had Crunch's absolute outrageous moments. This is an unfiltered platform. We truly do deliver just here's the mic. Say what's on your heart.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Look, we all bleed blue and white. We all support the same team. Get involved. Hear your comments. Absolutely. Let's see how we grow over the next season. Hopefully, a title-winning season.
Hit the subscribe button, and we'll be back very shortly, as early as tomorrow evening. I'm all about quality as well as, you know, for the show. So if we can put together a show tomorrow evening, I will be joined by TJ to discuss some Ipswich Town opinions. So do join us if that's on. I'll confirm that through the social media. But I don't want to put a show on, Matt, if there's not yet been anything else.
Where's that strip?
Exactly. Where is it? Anyway, we'll see you later. Subscribe.